Real quick. So if I ask you, what's your nationality, what would you tell me? African American. Last brother just came up here and said the exact same thing, bro. Exact same thing. Do you know when that term was coined? It looked like you wasn't born. You was born before the 80s, right? Yeah. Do you know that term was coined in the early 80s? Yep, by Jesse Jackson himself. So how can you be African American, but you're older than your nationality? Because the nationality, the root word of nationality is nation. Can you go to the nation of African America? Matter of fact, those are two white men. Did you know that? Leo Africanus and Americo Vespucci. Two white men can't make nothing, let alone a black person, right? So you should ask yourself, who am I? According to the Bible, right. What do God call you? Right. Do you know? You've been to church?
Yeah, I've been to church a long time.
And even when you went to church, nobody ever told you, right? They told you as a Gentile, huh? Right. God made 18 nations. Watch. I'm finna show you where you come from. Let me get Deuteronomy 1 and verse 1. Now, let me ask you something. How did black people get on this side of the earth?
They said by boat.
By boat. What kind of boat? Was it a cruise boat? It was a slave boat, right? That's our history, right? That's a fact. That can't be disputed, right?
Bring it out.
Watch this. Read this.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 1 and verse 1. These be the words which Moses spake unto all Israel.
So Moses speaking unto who? It said Israel, right? What's your name, bro? Edward. My name is MACCABEES. I'm going to ask you a couple questions, Edward, all right? So it says that Moses speaking to all Israel, right? Let's get Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 15. You have to stay with me because what I'm doing, I'm using blocks. I'm building up, right? I'm using building blocks for you. That first one lets you know that the book of Deuteronomy was written to Israel. Right. It didn't say the whole world. It said Israel and Israel only, right? Read.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
It said it will surely happen if you will not hearken. Hearken means listen. If you will not listen unto God, right? Read.
To observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day.
To do all his commandments and his statutes. Do everything that this Bible tell you to do and be everything that this Bible tell you to be, right? If you do not do that, something's going to happen. Read.
That all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
Let me get 47. So it says curses will come upon you. So right now the subject matter is Israel and curses, right? Curses will go on Israel if they would not listen to God. Watch this. Read.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 47. 46.
And they is talking about the curses, and the curses
shall be upon thee for a sign.
It said the curses be upon you for a sign. How do I know that's a tobacco shop? Because a sign, right? I know I'm on Front in Rice Street because of the signs, right? It said those curses will be on the children of Israel for a sign to show you who they are today.
That's right.
To show you who they are today, right? Watch this curse. Let me get to 68. Let me get 68. So this is a curse that will be upon Israel for a sign to show you who they are today.
Read. This is Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
Let me get what, hold that. Let me get what Egypt is. Because it says the Lord will bring you into Egypt again with ships. Egypt right now, you're thinking is a landmass in northeast Africa, right? Let's see what the Bible says Egypt is.
Bring it out. Exodus chapter 20 and verse 2. I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt.
It says, out of the land of Egypt. Read.
Out of the house of bondage.
Edward, what is it that's called Egypt? The house of what?
Bondage.
The house of bondage. If you're bound, let's go back to 68. If you're bound, what are you? The biggest word on that flyer. You're enslaved. What was the Israelites doing in Egypt at the time? There were slaves, weren't they? So God just told you that term Egypt means bondage or slavery. Watch this. Hold on. Let me finish this. Read.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 68.
Now we're going back to the curses. It said this curse will be on the children of Israel to show you who they are today. Read.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
Slavery again.
With ships.
Who history is that, Edward? You said it's not ours? We didn't go into slavery on slave ships? Yes, it did. I asked you, who history is it? It's our history. That happened to us. God said through Moses that would happen to his chosen people, Israel. It was a prophecy then, but who history is it? It's our history now. So Edward, who did that just tell you are? No, it just told you nationality-wise. Who was it speaking to? It was speaking to Israel. And it lets you know that we are Israel today. Because that right there, that slavery happened to us. God said it would happen to the children of Israel. It didn't happen to nobody else, did it? Watch this, read.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee.
God said just the way it happened, I told you what happened, it happened. Read.
Thou shalt see it no more again. God
said we won't see our homeland no more again. Have we left the place where we was captive in? No, we're still in the land where we pick cotton, we pick sugar cane, we pick tobacco, we pick rice, we pick corn, we plowed the fields, everything, right? We're still here. So those people over there in Israel right now, those white people, so-called white people, because they're really red, can't be Israel. Because God said they won't see their homeland again. Read.
Thou shalt see it no more again. And there,
when you get off of those slave ships, where those slave ships dock at, and you get off of those slave ships, read.
Ye shall be sold unto your enemies.
Who bought and sold us, Edward? Yep, what race of people? Don't be afraid to say it. Who bought and sold us? White folks, yes, they did. And God just called them your what? Watch this. Nope, listen to what God just called them. Read.
And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies.
Who will be sold to? Our enemies. And we were sold to those so-called white people, right? God said they are our enemies because friends won't sell friends, right? Family won't sell family, right? God said they are your enemies.
Bring it out.
They still our enemies today. You know that? That's why we get shot down in the middle of the street. That's why they smile in your face and then try to get you fired at your job, right? You see what I'm saying? They still our enemies. Don't let them fool you, thinking that they still live, that they good now. God said they are your enemies and they still your enemies to this day. Now, Edward, off of that right there, it lets you know that we're the children of Israel, bro.
That's right.
You're an Israelite.
That's right.
From the tribe of Judah. So when you walk away from here, don't call yourself an African American no more. Don't call yourself black no more. Take your nationality back. Let me get Jeremiah chapter 17 and verse 4. Is that what I want? Don't call yourself that no more. Call yourself Israel. Take your nationality back. Which they stole from you in slavery. That's why they told you that you couldn't write and you couldn't read. Because after 400 years of slavery, of not reading, you're going to forget your real name, right? You're going to forget who you really are. You're going to subscribe to what they call you. Niggas, Negroes, being colors, and then what do they call us? Black and African American, right? But God called us Israel. Watch this, read.
This is Jeremiah chapter 17 and verse 4. And thou, even thyself.
It says, thou, even thyself, Edward, read.
Shall discontinue from thy heritage.
He said you're going to discontinue from your heritage. Why? Because we got put into slavery.
That's right.
We got put into slavery. They They took everything from us. Have you ever seen Roots before? I know you have. And they hung Kunta Kinte up and tried to change his name to Toby. That's what they did to us. Because what's your last name?
My last name is Cox.
Cox. Do they even sound like a so-called black person's last name? No. Those names, those Smiths, those
Washington?
Smiths and Owens and stuff like that. That's not our last names. They gave us those names in slavery.
Right.
We discontinued from our true name, which is Israel. You see what I'm saying? But these men up here, we're taking it back. Let me get 2 Maccabees chapter 3 and verse 43. I think that's what I want. Yeah, so we're taking it back. That's why our names ain't those Johns no more, or those Chris's, or nothing. No, my name is Maccabees.
Right.
We got an Eleazar up here. We got a Mikael. We got an Amos. We got a Azariah. You see what I'm saying? These are Israelite names. We're taking it back. You see what I'm saying? You got to take it back, bruh. And this is what we doing. 43. Read.
This is a book.
Yeah, it's on 43. 1 Maccabees, chapter 3, and verse 43.
Bring it up.
Right? Come on. Read.
This is the book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 3 and verse 43.
Bring it up.
They said one to another.
So we said one to another. This is what we're trying to say right now. Edward. From Maccabees to Edward, right? Read. We're saying one to another. Read.
Let us restore the decayed state of our people.
We got to restore the decayed state of our people. We got to come out of this land, come out of the ways of Babylon the Great, because that's what America is, because Babylon tells you that you can eat pork. It's the new white meat. He tells you that you can eat shrimp, crab, and lobster. He tells you that a man need to be clean shaven. A man can shave his head. A woman can wear pants, right? Do you know all those things that I just mentioned goes against God?
We used to scream black power while Heron was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission. Minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road. Purple and gold. From Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.